Hi everyone, Stacy Whiter here on behalf of Campus Mortgage with part 2 of a 3-part video series on income basics for FHA mortgages. Now just a quick reminder before we get started, this video is for informational purposes only and should not be considered legal advice or used in place of FHA guidelines. Also, this video was issued on November 13th, 2018, and the information contained in this video is subject to change without notice. In part 1, we talked about the general requirements for income, and effective income is income that could be and may be used to qualify the borrower. It must be reasonably likely to continue for the first 3 years of the mortgage. So now let's take a look at the different income types. So let's talk about primary employment. So primary employment for a borrower is typically full-time employment that is either salary or hourly. And the calculations, how FHA wants you to calculate this income is if it's salary, use the current salary as effective income. If it's hourly, use the hourly rate if their hours do not vary. And if their hours do vary or they're more sporadic, use a 2-year average. Now, if there's a documented pay increase, recent pay increase for the borrower, you can change that average and decrease it over the last 12 months. Let's talk now about part-time employment. So part-time employment is usually not the borrower's primary employment and generally performed for less than 40 hours per week. For it to be effective income, FHA wants it to be uninterrupted for the last 2 years and likely to continue. The calculations are you would need to average the income over the previous 2 years. However, if the borrower does have a documented pay rate, you can use a 12-month average. Overtime and bonus employment income. So this is income received in addition to the borrower's normal salary. It must be interrupted for the past 2 years and likely to continue just like the overtime income. If the income, the overtime or bonus income has been received for less than 2 years but more than 1, it may be considered effective income if the conditions are met. The calculations for overtime and bonus employment income are to average the income over the previous 2 years. However, if the income from the current year is decreased or has decreased by more than 20% from the previous year, the lender must use the current year's income. Now let's talk about seasonal employment. So seasonal employment is not year-round, and that's regardless of the number of hours worked per year. It should be in the same line of work for the last 2 years and likely to continue. So for example, if someone has done landscaping in their part-time or they have a landscaping business, the underwriter would want to see that's something that they've done for 2 years. The calculations for this income are to average the income over the previous 2 years. All right, that concludes part 1 of this 3-part video series. Thanks so much for watching. For more tips and videos, please visit campusmortgage.org to look for their weekly mortgage video tips designed for all mortgage professionals, including underwriters, loan officers, processors, closers, and post-closers. Have a great day. We'll see you next time. Bye-bye.